The encounter, the night was colder than usual. A thin mist spread across the forest, wrapping every tree in a silver veil. Far from the city lights, the world was quiet except for the rustle of leaves. A 15-year-old boy named Aaron walked along the narrow trail. He was not supposed to be here, but curiosity often pulled him into places others avoided. That night he had seen something fall from the sky. At first he thought it was a shooting star, but it wasn't. Stars don't crash with fire and smoke. This light had burned bright, tearing through the sky before vanishing deep inside the woods. His heart had raced. His mind had told him to go home, but his feet had carried him forward. Aaron's sneakers pressed against wet soil as he followed the trail of smoke. The smell of something sharp and metallic filled the air. He could almost hear a soft humming, like energy still alive after the crash. The deeper he went, the stronger the feeling grew, as if the forest itself was holding its breath. At last he reached a clearing. In the middle of the clearing was no simple stone or fallen satellite. It was something else. A broken pod lay there, glowing faint blue along its edges, its surface cracked and steaming. Sparks flickered like fireflies escaping into the night. Aaron's mouth went dry. This is not from Earth," he whispered to himself. He took a cautious step closer, but before he could touch it, he heard a sound, a soft gasp. His head snapped to the side. Behind the broken pod, half hidden by shadows, someone was moving. It wasn't a soldier or a scientist. It wasn't even a man, it was a girl. She looked close to his age, but her features were not the same as his own. Her skin was pale with a faint glow, her eyes wide and silver like the moon. Her clothes were torn, marked with strange symbols that glimmered faintly. She held her side where blood, silver, not red, ran down her hand. Aaron froze. His heart thundered. An alien. Right in front of him. The girl's lips parted. Her voice was weak, trembling, yet it carried a strange music. "Please, help me." Before Aaron could answer, a growl echoed from the trees. Low, guttural, and hungry, the air seemed to thicken, the shadows stretching unnaturally long. Every instinct in Aaron screamed danger. The girl's eyes widened. She whispered one word, filled with fear. Predator. Something moved at the edge of the clearing. A tall, twisted shape stepped forward. Its body looked like it was born from the darkness itself. Long claws scraped the ground, leaving marks in the dirt. Its skin shifted like smoke and its eyes glowed a deep, hateful red. Aaron's body froze, but his mind screamed, "Run!" Yet when he looked at the alien girl trembling, barely able to stand, he couldn't move away. Instead, he stepped in front of her. His hands shook, but he spread his arms wide as if his thin body could shield her from the beast. The predator's growl deepened. It lowered its head, its claws digging into the earth. Then it pounced. Aaron didn't think. He threw himself forward, shoving the girl out of the way. Pain shot through his side as sharp teeth tore into his flesh. A scream ripped from his throat. The predator released him, stepping back, its mouth dripping with dark saliva. Aaron collapsed to one knee, his hand clutching the wound. The world spun, his vision blurring. Black veins began to spread out from the bite, crawling across his skin like living shadows. The girl's voice trembled with horror. No, the curse. Aaron tried to breathe, but every breath felt heavy, filled with fire. Whispers crept into his mind, cold and endless. Words he didn't understand yet somehow felt inside his bones. The predator snarled again, ready to strike once more. But before it could move, strange lights flickered in the sky. Loud, sharp noises echoed from above. The beast let out a hiss and vanished into the trees, swallowed by the shadows from which it came. Aaron collapsed fully, his body shaking. His vision dimmed, but he could still feel the alien girl's hands pressing against his wound, her voice breaking. "You saved me, human, but now, you are marked." Her words faded into the fog of his mind. The whispers inside him grew louder, darker, as if something had entered his soul the moment the predator's teeth touched him. The forest was quiet again, but Aaron's life was no longer the same. The boy who had entered the woods out of curiosity had left behind his old self. Now something else had begun, the bite. The forest was silent again, but inside Aaron's body nothing was silent. His chest rose and fell in shallow bursts. His fingers pressed against the wound where the predator had bitten him, but no pressure could stop the strange burning. It was not like fire, not like pain he had ever known. It was alive. The alien girl leaned over him, her glowing hair falling like threads of silver across her face. Her hands pressed hard on the wound, but she looked more terrified of the veins spreading beneath his skin then of the blood itself. "You don't understand," she whispered, her voice shaking. "This isn't just a bite. It's a mark. The mark of the shadow predator." Aaron's head throbbed. The whispers inside his mind grew louder. At first they sounded like echoes, but now they formed words. Sharp, broken words in a language he didn't know yet somehow understood. Hunt, feed, darkness. He grabbed the girl's wrist, his hand trembling. "What's
happening to me?"
Her silver eyes locked onto his. The shadow predator does not only kill, it infects. Its bite is poison and curse. Your body fights it now, but if you lose, you will become one of them. Aaron's stomach turned cold. One of them? That monster? The thought alone nearly made him sick. He tried to sit up, but his strength was gone. His vision flickered, the world dimming in and out as if shadows themselves were crawling across his eyes. Then it happened. His arm twitched, jerking uncontrollably. Black lines raced up from the wound, climbing like veins of ink toward his shoulder. His nails grew darker, sharper. For a heartbeat, his reflection in the cracked pod showed something that wasn't human. His own eyes glowing faintly red. The alien girl gasped and pulled away. "No, you have to fight it. I can't," Aaron groaned, clutching his head. The whispers screamed now, calling for blood, calling for the hunt. But then, something else happened. A strange light spread from the girl's hand. She reached out, pressing her palm over his wound once more. Her touch was warm, soothing, like a flame that didn't burn. The veins slowed, though they didn't vanish. The whispers quieted, though they didn't fade. Aaron breathed heavily, sweat dripping down his forehead. His vision cleared just enough to see her clearly again. "You saved me," she said softly. "So I will save you. For now." Aaron asked, his voice weak, her gaze lowered, full of guilt. "The bite cannot be healed." "Not fully. The darkness is inside you now. You will feel it grow stronger, and you will be tempted to use it. But the more you use it, the closer you come to losing yourself." Aaron's hands shook. The idea that something inside him was waiting to consume him made his stomach twist. He wanted to scream, to run, to deny it. But deep down he knew it was true. He could feel the hunger already lurking beneath his skin. The girl helped him sit up, her small frame surprisingly steady. She looked into his eyes with urgency. "Listen to me. My name is Lyra. I'm not from this world. I came here to escape, but now they will come for me." "Who?" Aaron asked. "My father's enemies," she said, her voice low. "Hunters. They want me because I am heir to the throne of Arendor. My father is king. If they take me, the throne will fall. And the shadow predator, it was sent to kill me." Aaron's chest tightened. Everything sounded impossible, like something out of the movies he watched late at night. But the blood on his hands, the bite in his side, the monster's glowing eyes, they were real. "And now," Lyra said with sorrow, "you are part of it. You were bitten protecting me. That means the hunters will see you as my shield, and the predator's curse will never release you." Aaron laughed bitterly, though it came out more like a cough. "Great, so I'm dying. Or worse." Lyra shook her head. "No, you're changing." Her words hung in the air. Changing. The thought chilled him more than death. A sudden noise shattered the moment. The sound of branches snapping, heavy footsteps approaching fast. Lyra's face turned pale. "They've found me," she whispered. Out of the shadows came armored figures, their bodies tall and lean, wearing masks that gleamed under the moonlight. Each carried weapons that hummed with alien energy. Their red eyes scanned the clearing until they locked onto Lyra, and then Aaron. One of them raised his weapon, his voice sharp and cruel. "The princess lives. Kill the human." Aaron's body moved before his mind could. His veins burned black again, his eyes flashing red for just a second. He pushed Lyra behind him, teeth clenched as strength surged through his shaking limbs. The whispers inside his head screamed with hunger. He didn't want to fight, but the curse did, and for the first time, he let a little of it out. The hunters lunged. The clearing filled with chaos. Transformation begins. The forest exploded with sound. The hunters moved fast, their weapons glowing with deadly blue light. Aaron's heart pounded, but his body no longer felt weak. The bite in his side burned like fire, and that fire spread to his arms, his chest, his very bones. The first hunter rushed forward. His blade crackled with energy as he swung for Aaron's head. Aaron tried to step back, but his body acted before his mind could. His hand shot out, catching the blade with impossible speed. Sparks flew, burning his skin, but he didn't let go. He twisted and the hunter stumbled. For a moment, Aaron froze. How did I do that? But there was no time to wonder. Another hunter charged. Aaron's eyes flashed red as he spun, his foot slamming into the man's chest. The strike sent the armored figure flying back into a tree with a crack of breaking wood. Lyra gasped from behind him. No, it's starting. Aaron felt it too. Each movement was faster, stronger than human. The whispers inside his head grew louder, praising him, urging him. Fight, tear, hunt. The power filled him like a storm he couldn't control. The third hunter raised a gun, its barrel glowing. He fired, and a beam of light shot across the clearing. Aaron's body bent low, dodging the blast by inches. He rushed forward, his claws, ripping across the weapon, tearing it apart. When he looked at his hands, he froze. His fingernails had lengthened, sharp and black, glowing faintly at the tips. They weren't his anymore. No, he whispered, stepping back. What's happening to me? But another hunter came. Aaron's fear turned into instinct. He slashed out, his claws cutting through armor like paper. The hunter dropped, unmoving. Aaron stood over the body, breathing heavily, his chest heaving. His lips curled into a snarl before he even realized it. Lyra's voice cut through the madness. Aaron, stop. Her voice was desperate, trembling. Aaron blinked, his vision flickering. The whispers inside hissed, angry at her interruption. They wanted more blood. They wanted him to finish what he started. But Aaron shook his head hard, clutching his temples. No, I'm not one of you, he shouted at the voices. The last two hunters hesitated, watching him with caution. They muttered in their strange tongue, then retreated into the shadows. One of them spoke before vanishing. The king will want to see this. The cursed one lives. Then they were gone. Silence fell again, broken only by Aaron's ragged breathing. He dropped to his knees, his claws slowly shrinking back into normal fingernails. The black veins on his arm faded but did not vanish. Lyra knelt beside him, her silver eyes wide with fear and sadness. You felt it, didn't you? Aaron nodded weakly, sweat dripping from his brow. It was like something else was controlling me. I wanted to stop, but I couldn't. It felt good. Too good. That is the curse, Lyra said, her voice low. The predator's bite doesn't only poison. It changes. The more you use its power, the less of you remains. Aaron looked at his hands, still shaking. He had killed. He had killed without thinking, without even meaning to. And yet a part of him remembered the rush, the thrill of strength. That scared him more than the hunters. I didn't ask for this, he said, his voice breaking. Lyra placed a hand on his shoulder. I know, but fate rarely asks. It only gives. Aaron looked at her, searching her face. She was calm, though her eyes carried sorrow too deep for her young age. He remembered she had called herself a princess, daughter of a king. He remembered the hunter's words. The king will want to see this. Your people, Aaron said slowly. They'll know what's happening to me. Maybe they can stop it? Lyra looked away, her silence heavy. Finally she whispered, they may not save you. They may kill you. The words stabbed deeper than the predator's bite. Before Aaron could answer, the sky above the trees lit up with a sharp, golden glow. Strange ships broke through the clouds, descending fast. Their engines roared, shaking the earth beneath them. Lyra stood, her voice urgent. It's them. My father's soldiers. They've found me. Aaron tried to stand, his legs weak but his body buzzing with unnatural energy. Will they help us? Lyra shook her head. They will help me, but you? They will see you as a danger. The curse in your blood makes you their enemy. Aaron clenched his fists. He didn't want more fighting. He didn't want more death. But deep inside, the whispers stirred again, excited by the arrival of fresh prey. The ships landed, their doors sliding open. Rows of tall, armored soldiers marched out, their banners glowing with the crest of a crowned star. They surrounded the clearing, weapons raised. One soldier stepped forward, his voice booming. Princess Lyra, you will return to the king at once. The human will be taken. For judgment. Aaron felt the curse burn hotter in his veins. Judgment. He already knew what that meant. The alien king's judgment. The soldiers closed in around Aaron, their weapons humming with energy. The glow from their armor lit the mist, turning the clearing into a cage of golden light. Aaron's fists tightened. His veins burned black again, whispering to him, fight, kill. Hunt. But Lyra stepped forward, raising her trembling hands. Stop! Her voice was clear, commanding, though it cracked with fear. He saved me. Without him, I would be dead. The soldiers hesitated but didn't lower their weapons. Their leader, taller than the rest, pointed his spear at Aaron. He carries the predator's mark. He is cursed. He cannot be allowed near the princess. Aaron tried to speak, but his throat was dry. I didn't ask for this. I was bitten because I tried to protect her. The leader's visor tilted as if studying him. Your intentions mean nothing. The curse inside you will grow. One day you will be the very monster you fought. Lyra shook her head. He is not like the others. I felt it. He fought the curse. He resisted. Please let my father decide. The soldiers exchanged glances. Then, with a sharp gesture from their leader, two of them grabbed Aaron's arms. Their strength was inhuman, pulling him forward as if he weighed nothing. Aaron tried to resist, but Lyra's pleading eyes stopped him. He swallowed his anger and let them drag him. The ships lifted off, carrying them into the night sky. Aaron's stomach twisted as earth grew smaller beneath him. The whispers inside his head laughed, telling him he no longer belonged down there. Hours later, the ships descended into a vast alien city floating among the stars. Towers of crystal stretched high, glowing with rivers of light. Ships glided silently between them like birds across a lake. And at the center stood a palace, huge, golden, crowned with a symbol of fire and stars. Aaron's breath caught. He had never imagined something so beautiful. And yet, to him, it felt like walking into a cage. The soldiers dragged him through wide halls lined with guards and glowing banners. Finally, they entered the throne room. At the far end sat the alien king. He was tall, broad-shouldered, with silver skin that shone faintly under the lights. His crown was not of gold, but of living energy, glowing around his head like a halo. His eyes, sharp, merciless, watched Aaron the way a predator watches prey. Lyra broke free from the soldiers and rushed forward.
Father.
The king's gaze softened only for her. My daughter, you are safe. His voice was deep, commanding, echoing through the chamber. But when his eyes shifted to Aaron, the warmth was gone. Who is this human? He asked. Lyra bowed her head. He is Aaron. He saved me from the shadow predator. Without him, I would not stand here now. The king's eyes narrowed. And yet, he carries the predator's curse. Aaron forced himself to meet that piercing stare. I didn't choose this. I tried to protect her. The beast bit me. The king rose from his throne, his cloak of light dragging across the steps. He walked closer, each step heavy with authority. Do you know what lives in your veins now, human? That bite is death to my people. No one survives it. Those who do are no longer themselves. I'm still me, Aaron said quickly, though his shaking hands betrayed doubt. I can fight it. I won't become one of them, the king's voice thundered. You already killed, did you not? Aaron froze. His mind flashed back to the clearing, to the hunter he had torn apart with claws that weren't his. His stomach turned. Lyra stepped forward, desperate. Father, please. He killed to protect me. He fought the hunters. He resisted the curse. You cannot judge him as if he is a monster. The king looked at her for a long moment, his eyes heavy with sorrow. My daughter, your kindness blinds you. The curse always wins. Always. Silence filled the chamber. Aaron's chest tightened. Was this the end? Would the king kill him here in this shining palace far from home? But then the king lifted his hand and his voice grew calmer. Yet, he is human. His kind are stubborn, reckless, filled with fire. Perhaps this boy's fate is not sealed. Perhaps. Lyra's eyes widened with hope. You will let him live? The king turned his gaze back to Aaron. Not so easily. If he wishes to prove he is still human, he must face the curse. He must survive a trial that no cursed one has survived. Aaron swallowed hard. What kind of trial? The king's voice was cold. You will be cast into the hunting grounds of Arendor. There the predators roam free. If you can survive their hunt without losing yourself, you will live. If not, you will die as all cursed ones must. The chamber filled with whispers from the guards. None believed he could succeed. Aaron's hands shook, but he lifted his chin. He thought of the predator's bite, of the whispers that haunted his mind, of the hunters he had already faced. He thought of Lyra's silver eyes full of trust. I'll do it, he said. The king studied him for a long moment, then nodded slowly. So be it. At dawn the hunt begins. Lyra reached for him, her voice breaking. Aaron, the guards dragged him away before she could say more, and as the great doors closed behind him, the whispers inside Aaron's mind laughed again. Hunt, feed, kill. For the first time, Aaron wondered if he could survive not just the predators, but himself. The hunt, the air was heavy with silence. Aaron stood at the edge of the hunting grounds, a vast wasteland of jagged rocks, black trees, and a sky that glowed with two moons. Beyond the gates, he could hear them. Growls, claws scraping stone, the faint hiss of predators waiting in the dark. He glanced up at the high walls behind him. Soldiers lined the edges, watching from above. Among them was the alien king, his glowing crown blazing like fire in the night. Beside him stood Lyra, her hands gripping the rail, her face pale with fear. A soldier pushed Aaron forward. Enter. When the gates close, you belong to the hunt. Aaron stepped inside. The ground felt strange beneath his shoes, almost alive, pulsing faintly with energy. As soon as he crossed the threshold, the heavy gate slammed shut behind him. A horn sounded across the valley, low, sharp, final. The hunt had begun. Aaron's body tensed. His hands shook, not from fear alone, but from the whispers already stirring in his veins. Run. Hide. Hunt. The predator's curse was awake, eager. He forced himself to breathe slowly, trying to keep control. No, he muttered. I'm not your puppet. The shadows answered with movement. Red eyes blinked open between the trees. Figures shifted, crawling out from the darkness. The shadow predators. Not just one, but many. Aaron's chest tightened. He remembered the first one that bit him. How easily it had torn through him. Now a whole pack stalked him, their bodies melting in and out of shadow, their claws gleaming like obsidian blades. The first predator leapt. Aaron dove to the side, rolling across the dirt. Pain flared in his ribs, but he scrambled up just in time to dodge another swipe. The monster circled him, growling low. His instincts screamed. His veins burned. His vision sharpened until he could see every ripple of shadow, every flicker of movement. He could smell the predator's breath, hot and rotten. His body wanted to strike, to tear. One predator lunged again. This time Aaron didn't dodge. He moved faster than he thought possible, his claws flashing out before he realized they had grown again. The predator shrieked as black blood sprayed across the ground. Aaron froze, his chest heaving. His hands, his claws dripped with blood. A thrill rushed through him, sharp and dangerous. For a moment it felt good. Too good, more, the whispers hissed. Kill more, feed, no! Aaron shouted, clutching his head. The voices clawed at his mind, demanding control, but the predators weren't waiting. Another slammed into him, knocking him onto his back. Its teeth snapped inches from his throat. Aaron's eyes burned red. His strength surged, unnatural and wild. With a roar, he shoved the beast off him and drove his claws deep into its chest. The predator writhed, then went still. The others paused, growling, circling. Aaron stood in the center of the ring, his shoulders rising and falling with each heavy breath. His skin was slick with sweat, his veins black with corruption. Above, the alien king watched in silence. His soldiers murmured, surprised the boy still lived. But Lyra's eyes never left Aaron, her lips whispering a silent plea. Fight it. Stay human, Aaron gritted his teeth. He didn't want to kill. But if he didn't, they would tear him apart. He lunged forward, slashing through another predator. His movements were too fast, too sharp, almost inhuman. Each strike brought more whispers, more hunger. Soon the ground was littered with bodies, black blood soaking into the dirt. The last predator growled low, the largest of the pack, its eyes burning like fire. It stalked closer, unafraid. Aaron staggered, his claws dripping. He could barely breathe. His vision swam between red and black. His mind felt split in two, half himself, half something darker. The whispers roared now, louder than ever. Finish it, become us. Hunt forever. Aaron's knees buckled. His body trembled, caught between surrender and resistance. He thought of home, of the forest where this all began, of the boy he used to be. That boy was slipping away, but then he saw Lyra. High above, her silver eyes locked on him, filled not with fear but hope. She shook her head slowly, her lips forming words he couldn't hear but understood. Remember who you are. Aaron's breath caught. For a moment the whispers faltered. The hunger loosened. He clenched his fists, forcing his claws to retract, forcing his body to obey him and not the curse. The last predator charged. Aaron stood his ground. At the last moment he moved, fast, precise, but controlled. He grabbed the beast's throat and slammed it into the ground. Dust flew. The predator thrashed, its claws slicing his arm, but Aaron didn't let go. "No," Aaron growled, his voice raw. "I'm not like you." With one final surge of strength, he crushed the predator's throat. It went limp beneath him. Silence. Aaron knelt there, chest heaving, surrounded by death. His body shook, torn between triumph and horror. He had survived, but at what cost? Above, the horn sounded again, signaling the end of the hunt. The soldiers murmured in disbelief. Never before had a cursed one lived through the trial. The alien king's eyes narrowed. For the first time there was no certainty in his gaze, and Lyra, her face lit with relief. She whispered his name softly, though he could not hear it from below. Aaron looked at his blood-stained hands. The whispers were quieter now, but not gone. They never would be. He had won the hunt. But the real battle against himself was only beginning. The choice. The gates of the hunting grounds groaned open and the soldiers stepped inside. Their armor glowed under the twin moons, their boots splashing in black blood as they surrounded Aaron. He stood in the center, chest heaving, his hands stained from the predators he had slain. The alien king descended the steps of the viewing platform. His presence filled the field like thunder. Lyra followed close behind, her eyes never leaving Aaron. The soldiers bowed, but Aaron didn't move. His legs trembled. His claws had shrunk back into human nails, yet his veins still pulsed darkly under his skin. The whispers in his head had quieted, but he knew they waited. Always waiting. The king stopped a few feet away, his sharp eyes scanning the boy. "You live," he said simply. Aaron forced himself to meet that gaze. "I told you. I'm not one of them," the king's voice rumbled low. "You killed as they do. You fought with their hunger. Do not pretend you have won. The true test is not survival of the hunt. It is survival of yourself." Aaron's stomach twisted. He knew the king was right. When the predators had circled him, he had felt it. Power, hunger, rage. Part of him had wanted more. Lyra stepped forward, her voice breaking the silence. "Father, he fought it. I saw him. He resisted when he could have given in completely. Doesn't that mean anything?" The king did not look at her. His gaze remained fixed on Aaron. The curse cannot be undone. It only waits for weakness. And all creatures are weak in the end. Aaron clenched his fists. "Maybe, but I won't let it take me." The king's expression hardened. "Words are wind. The choice lies not in what you speak, but in what you do. So I will give you one more chance to prove yourself." He gestured to his guards. They dragged forward a creature bound in chains. A predator. Larger than the others Aaron had faced, its eyes glowing like burning coals. It snarled and thrashed, but the chains held firm. The king's voice boomed. "Kill it. Show me you can master the power without becoming it." Aaron's breath caught. He looked at the beast. It was dangerous but helpless now. Its chains clinked as it struggled. The whispers inside his head stirred again, sharper this time. "Do it, strike, feed." His hands shook. He could feel the curse pulsing, begging for blood. If he killed this predator, would he prove his strength or prove he was no different? Lyra's voice cut through the storm. "Aaron, don't," the king frowned. "You would have him disobey me?" Lyra's silver eyes burned with defiance. "This is not a test of strength. It is a trap. If he kills when he doesn't need to, then he has already lost." The chamber filled with tension. The king's eyes narrowed, but he said nothing. Aaron's chest heaved. He stared at the predator, then at his own trembling claws. His heart screamed for survival. The whispers begged for violence. But somewhere beneath the noise he heard Lyra's words echo. "Remember who you are." Slowly he stepped back. "No," Aaron said, his voice low but steady. "I won't kill it. Not like this." The whispers shrieked in rage, clawing at his mind, but he pushed them down with everything he had. His knees almost buckled under the pressure, sweat dripping from his brow. Still he stood firm. The predator snarled behind its chains. The soldiers shifted uneasily. Silence stretched across the hall. Finally the king spoke. His voice was colder than ice. "You refuse?" Aaron raised his head. "I choose. I'm not a predator. I won't kill just because you tell me to. That's the difference between me and them." The king studied him, his face unreadable. Lyra's breath caught. Her hands trembled at her sides. The whispers faded into a faint hiss, angry but beaten for now. Aaron felt empty, drained but free. He had chosen. After a long silence, the king turned away, his cloak sweeping behind him. You surprise me, human. Few resist the hunger. Perhaps you are not lost yet. Lyra's eyes filled with relief, but the king's voice thundered again, shaking the chamber. But know this. Every day the curse will test you. Every battle, every choice it will whisper. If you fall, I will end you myself. Aaron's throat tightened, but he nodded. Then I'll keep fighting. As long as I have to, the king said no more. He gestured, and the chained predator was dragged away. The soldiers dispersed, their murmurs echoing through the hall. Lyra stepped closer to Aaron, her voice soft, almost trembling. You did it. You chose to stay human. Aaron gave a weak smile, though his eyes were heavy. For now. He looked down at his hands, still stained from the hunt. But I don't know how long I can keep winning. Lyra touched his arm gently. Then I'll help you fight. You won't face it alone. Aaron looked at her, and for the first time since the bite, hope flickered inside him. The whispers hissed in the back of his mind, but he ignored them. The alien king had judged him unbroken for now. But deep in the shadows, the curse waited, patient and hungry. The king decides. The palace hall was quiet after the trial, but the weight of what had happened still hung heavy in the air. Aaron stood at the center, bruised, bloodied, and trembling. He had survived the predators. He had resisted the urge to kill when it wasn't needed. Yet he could feel the curse still coiled inside him, whispering in the dark corners of his mind. The alien king sat upon his throne again, his glowing crown casting light across the chamber. His expression was unreadable, carved from stone. Around him, soldiers whispered, debating whether the human should live or die. Lyra stood close to Aaron, her hands clenched. Her eyes were filled with hope, but also fear. She knew her father's judgment could save or destroy the boy who had risked everything to protect her. The king's voice finally broke the silence. You are not what I expected, human. His words echoed, deep and heavy. You carry the mark of the predator, yet you resisted its hunger. You killed, yes, but only when forced. And when faced with power over the helpless, you chose restraint. Aaron swallowed, his throat dry. He said nothing, waiting for the sentence that could end his life. The king rose slowly, his cloak of light dragging across the marble floor. There are those among my people who would call for your death. They see only the curse in your blood. But I see something else. He stopped before Aaron, towering over him. I see a shield, a blade, a fire that refuses to be swallowed by shadow. Aaron's breath caught. So, what does that mean? The king's eyes burned with intensity. It means you are not to be executed. You will not be cast out. Instead, he paused, his gaze flicking to Lyra. You will be her protector, Lyra gasped. Father, the king raised a hand to silence her. You saved her life once already at great cost. Perhaps fate chose you for this. You will stay by her side as guardian, as shield. But hear me, human. If you fail, if the curse consumes you, I will end you myself. Aaron's heart pounded. A protector. Part of him wanted to laugh at the absurdity. A week ago, he was just a boy wandering the forest. Now he was sworn to guard a princess on a world that wasn't his. The whispers inside his mind hissed, mocking. Protector? No, predator. He clenched his fists, pushing them back. He looked into the king's eyes. I'll protect her, and I'll fight this curse no matter what it takes. The king studied him for a long moment, then nodded once. So be it. The hall erupted with murmurs. Some soldiers were shocked, others angry, but none dared defy the king's decree. Lyra's face softened with relief. She stepped closer to Aaron, her voice quiet. I knew you could prove yourself. Aaron managed a small smile, though exhaustion weighed on him. Not sure I proved anything, but I'm still me. For now. The king returned to his throne, his voice carrying across the chamber. Then it is decided. From this day forward, the cursed human stands as guardian of the princess. Let all of Arendor know he is both a warning and a weapon. The soldiers bowed, their banners raised high. The judgment was sealed, but even as relief spread through Lyra's eyes, Aaron felt no peace. Deep in his chest, the curse shifted, restless, hungry. He had won battles, but not the war. That night, the palace celebrated the princess's return. Music filled the golden halls, and lights danced across the skies of the alien city. Aaron stood at the balcony, far from the feast, staring at his hands. They looked human again, but he could still remember the claws, the blood, the whispers. Lyra joined him quietly, her silver eyes soft in the moonlight. You're thinking about it again, aren't you? Aaron nodded. It's always there waiting. Sometimes I feel like I'm already losing. She touched his arm gently. But you chose today. You proved you can resist. That means you can fight it, and you won't fight alone. Aaron looked at her, gratitude flickering in his tired eyes. Thank you. For a moment, the night felt almost calm. The music drifted from the halls, the city lights shimmered, and Lyra's presence made the whispers fade to a faint hiss. But then, in the distance beyond the towers of crystal and light, the shadows shifted. Far below, in the black streets of the city, a figure moved. Its body rippled with darkness, its eyes glowing crimson. Another predator, but not like the ones Aaron had faced. This one was larger, cloaked in shadow so deep it seemed to swallow the stars. It stood in silence, watching the palace from afar. And then, in a voice only Aaron could hear, the whispers returned, louder than ever. You think you are a protector, but soon, you will be ours. Aaron gripped the balcony rail until his knuckles turned white. He didn't tell Lyra. He didn't want to frighten her. But deep down he knew the truth. The alien king had decided his fate. He was a guardian now, but the shadow had not finished with him. The hunt was far from over.